What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode here with Heartletics. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about this one. Let me tune this down just a tad here so you guys can hear me better. We're going to be talking all about how do we become a better leader? And most importantly, why that is so important, why leadership is so important. And I'm going to give you guys some tips, right? Because at the end of the day, what it boils down to, and this is what we preach about all the time with Heartletics, is how do we man up? How do we level up? How do we focus on that personal growth, personal development? And really that boils down to glorifying yourself and seeing yourself and respecting yourself as a leader and leading by example. And what does that truly mean? So that's what we're going to be kind of going over. And I'm going to give you guys three helpful segments, three helpful tips to kind of just make things a little bit easier to understand the importance on how to become a better leader and why. So for starters, right, think about it like this. You need to understand the process, okay? And what does that mean? To me, I always say it like this. Life is always going to throw you curveballs. Life is always going to throw you adversity. Life's always going to throw you stress, whether that's at home, whether that's at work, whatever the case may be, right? And here's the funny thing. And most of the people can agree to this, is typically when life throws you curveballs is when you're on the right track to doing something, you're in the right alignment, right? You're doing something to better yourself. Maybe that's your health, and maybe you started working out, maybe you started, eating healthier, whatever the case may be. And it seems like everything goes great, right? In the beginning, you feel more motivated, you feel amped up, you feel ready to go. But then eventually, right, they go through this hardship. Maybe it's, life throwing you curveballs. And what does that mean? Well, in terms of health and fitness, it could mean maybe you're not seeing results. Maybe it's been 3-4 weeks and, you haven't been seeing the results that you got started with, when you first started. And in terms of like life throwing you curveballs, maybe it's you get sick. Or maybe you get an injury. It could be anything, honestly. Like when it comes to coaching guys, like we deal with everything out of nowhere, right? COVID, right? Somebody gets sick. Traveling out of nowhere, right? Somebody gets injured, whatever the case may be. It's dealing with these, curveballs, and you got to understand the process. So what is the process and how does this help you become a better leader? Well, understanding the process is that this is normal. The hardships, the pain, it's completely normal. At the end of the day, if you're doing something to benefit yourself and to level up and to grow, guess what? Life's going to throw you these curveballs to test you, to see how bad you truly want it. So understand that's part of the process, and it's actually a good thing. It just means for you that, hey, you're stepping outside your comfort zone. For a short period of time, life's going to throw you some adversity. It's going to test you to see how bad you truly want it. Whatever goals that you want, life's going to test you. Because literally, as much as this sounds like, negative, but you need to die today of who you are. Your habits that's leading you down a bad path, right? You need to die today of those bad habits. That way you can reborn into this new character, this new hero. And eventually, right, it's just like a little caterpillar going through metamorphosis to become a butterfly, right? That cocoon, whatever. Like that's transforming that person's body completely. And you need to do the same thing, but not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally, spiritually as well. And this is stuff that we help our guys with inside Heartletics. But you got to understand, like, that's part of the process. It's going to get tough, plain and simple. Life's going to throw you curveballs. Life's going to test you. But here's the thing. As long as you continue to push through and just go one step in front of the other, you're going to surpass. You're going to make it through. You're going to eventually, defeat that little mini boss that you're on right now in this chapter of life. So, number one on how to become a better leader is understanding the process. Don't chicken out. Don't go back to your old ways. Don't throw in the white towel and give up. That's not what a leader would do. Number 2, it's taking ownership. What does that mean? Taking full ownership. I love this word because it's so aggressive. It's so demanding. Taking ownership, meaning like, hey, if you made a commitment, you're going to put in the work. If you said you were going to do something, you said you were going to get healthy, you best believe when you're tired, right? Just because you got off work and you're tired, well, guess what? You still need to do something. You made a commitment. Ownership. You got to push through. You have to show up. You have to take ownership of you saying what you said you were going to say. This is a lot easier for somebody to become a better leader and adapt with better ownership skills if they have somebody holding them accountable. Okay? Who is holding you accountable? Plain and simple. Do you have enough discipline to continue to hold yourself accountable? Do you have enough willpower to stay on track, even when life throws you curveballs? That is where accountability is one of the hidden factors into all this, to really helping you on this journey. I get it. People can develop better ownership skills, right? It is a character trait. It is a behavior. People could develop that more and more and more and have more sense of willpower. But you got to be real and ask yourself, how long have you been doing that for? And where has that got you to today? Plain and simple. So remember, number 1, on how to become a better leader, understanding the process. Number 2, taking ownership. And lastly, number 3 is being committed. And yes, this kind of ties off to ownership, but like truly mean being committed. And the best way, the easiest way that I can tell you on how to stay more committed is by doing the things that you enjoy that's helping you reach your goals. Let's relate this to health and fitness. If you do not like cutting out carbs, but you keep on hearing people tell you, hey, just cut out carbs to lose weight, guess what? That's not going to help you long term. You need to develop better habits now that's going to help you long term. Because if you don't enjoy doing something, odds are you're not going to stick with it. It's not going to be sustainable for you. So when you have goals that's in alignment, okay, with some habits that you enjoy doing, it's going to become a lot easier. I know, common sense, right? Shocking. But hear me out. If you enjoy walking rather than running, go for a walk. If you enjoy and can stay committed to, let's say, 2 or 3 workouts a week, rather than being in the gym 5 or 6 times a week, awesome. Stay committed to that. Do the 2 to 3 times a week, right? Like different things like this. Easy habits. Easy, but you have to understand, right? This whole game, this game of life, your health and fitness journey, right? You got to play the long game. The short-term wins, right? The short-term wins always lead you down a long-term road of failure. You got to play the long game. You have to stop and think, is this decisions that I'm doing today, is it sustainable? Is it something that I can stay committed with and do on a constant basis to help me become a better person 5, 10, 15 years down the road? Remember, life is just one big hourglass tipped upside down, right? We're all in full control over how slow or how fast we want that sand to go down by the bottom. So we need to understand, okay, where are we today? What are we doing? What are the decisions that we're making today? Is it helping us or hurting us? Is it creating better habits or worse habits? When we take ownership over our lives, not just in the present moment, but being a better leader overall, so that way we can lead by example for, hey, sustainability, lead by example for being a better motivator, because guess what? You're able to lose the weight, and here's the thing, keep it off for good. That's why you need to develop these habits. These habits that are going to be sustainable for you and your lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good, right? I'm sure a lot of guys, at least these are the ones that apply for our coaching program, they want to look good with their shirts off. They want to feel better. They want to have more energy to play with their kids. They want to have more self-confidence. They want to look at themselves in the mirror and feel proud of themselves all over again, right? Like they lost that. It's been years since these guys can even look at themselves and feel confident and proud of who they are when they look at themselves in the mirror. Struggling. And it doesn't have to be hard at all. How do you start? Start with just doing the 3 things that I just talked about. 1, understanding the process. It's going to be hard. But guess what? Leaders aren't going to quit. Number 2, taking ownership. Taking ownership. This is your life. No one's going to hand you a fat loss pill that's going to help you, get 6-pack abs and get off your blood pressure meds. You got to take ownership. This is your life. Not your spouse's, not your kids, your life. If you want to make a change, you can make a change. You got to take ownership of it. Lastly, number 3, you got to be committed. You have to be committed. You have to show up each and every day, right? And this is where accountability comes in handy, right? If you have somebody holding you accountable, awesome. Kudos to them, because that's amazing. Plain and simple. But you have to stay committed. What is the best way to stay committed is think about habits. Not just habits for short term. Remember, the long game. Habits for the long term. Create habits that work best for your lifestyle. Maybe that's walking. Maybe that's drinking plenty of water. Maybe that's, working out 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe that's hitting a protein goal. Whatever the case may be that you can stick with long term. That is what's going to make you a better leader. Where, guess what? You're inspiring others. You're leading by example. Your kids are following in your footsteps. Right? Your whole household has made a change. Your coworkers are seeing a difference in you. That's what it truly means. That's how you inspire the world. That's how you help out others. Is by helping out yourself first and foremost. But it boils down to you becoming a better leader. Plain and simple. Guys, I hope you guys got some value from today's episode. Remember, this has been Heartletics with Coach Joe. And if you guys are tuning into the podcast, awesome. If you happen to like it, got some value, definitely make sure you share it on social media. Somebody else might take some, get some value out of it. Let's just say it like that. It might help out their day. And then if you guys are watching this on YouTube, my voice is still struggling to come back, but it's getting better. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, do me a favor. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scout.